Rossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't need to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. Yeah, went on a little bit of a hiatus there, and wow, okay. Some people were very angry about me comparing Tom Brady to Aaron Rodgers. Got a lot of not nice comments and some overall debauchery, but listen, it was a good conversation. Those who said that you weren't doing my mom or, gonna get pwned like a noob, we had good talks. And so I appreciate that. And again, the overall conversation was the fact that it's really hard to compare quarterbacks because they're going against different teams with different defenses and they have different weapons. That was the point that I was trying to make. But let's move on because it is one of the best times of the year in which, for a Packers fan, it's usually the worst time of the year because our team does nothing, but it's the free agency. And boy, oh boy, are we letting people walk out the door. But we have also signed an unrestricted free agent, which is a first in quite some time. But before we get to that, let's talk about those who are no longer with us. Starting with center J.C. Tretter, who went to the Browns for 3 years and $16.75 million. Holy mackerel, that's a good amount of money. I always liked Tretter. I thought he was a solid player. He filled in really well when Lindsley was out for a while. We'll miss him. Of course, our guard T.J. Lang signing with the Lions. Oh, thanks so much for going. The NFC North, literally, it's like a Kentucky family reunion in that it's just like, oh yes, I'm married to this cousin and this one is also my sister. And yes, there's a lot of exchanging of players going on in the NFC North. He signed for 3 years, $28.5 million. Holy mackerel, that's a lot of money. So I can see why they let him go. Julius Peppers, outside linebacker for a year, going back to the Carolina Panthers for $3.5. You know what? I was actually okay with this. I was advocating for this kind of at the end of the season, letting Peppers walk. I'm happy for the guy. He was a good player for us, but he was playing, once a drive. He was playing on third down, and that was really it. He was a good player, don't get me wrong, when he was playing on that one down, but, to pay him the amount of money that was for his contract, I just didn't see the worth there. Micah Hyde, man, I was always really high on Micah Hyde and really, really liked him, but the problem is that, I think he just never reached the potential that they thought he could. But he signed a 5-year, $30 million contract with the Bills, so Bills kind of getting that back up and going. But, of course, the big news to come out of today is Eddie Lacy. Now, Eddie Lacy, I said, right when the offseason began, I said, sign this guy to a 1-year contract and see what he has. And the thing is, I'm an Eddie Lacy fan. I like Eddie Lacy. The problem is, he had a great first year. His sophomore year was okay. And then, he had injury. He got fat. I hate bashing Eddie Lacy. I love the Hulk thing. He just seemed like such a nice guy. Last year, I was debating with buying an Eddie Lacy jersey. That's how much I liked the guy. And when the free agency started, they said that he was talking to 3 teams. He was talking to the Packers, he was talking to the Vikings, and he was talking to the Seattle Seahawks. I hate 2 out of 3 of those teams with a passion. And it came out today that he has signed with the Seahawks for a 1-year, $5.5 million contract, $3 million of it guaranteed. And this is where it's a catch-22, because I love Eddie Lacy, and I want to wish him well, but I just hate the Seahawks way too much. I hate the Vikings, and it would have been a toss-up. But, I just hate both those teams so much. And the fact that he went to the Seahawks, I just have to hope that he eats a lot of food there and just doesn't do well for them. That sounds really mean and really petty, but I hate the Seattle Seahawks. But looking ahead, because Ted Thompson making those big moves, we re-signed Don Jackson. What running back? Amazing caliber player. Don Barclay got him back too. Joe Thomas got him back too. Jacob Shum, our jacked punter, who did really, really well for us down the stretch. I'm happy we got him back. The big news, of course, besides we'll get to Martellus Bennett in a second, but we did re-sign Nick Perry. I was very concerned that we were going to let him walk because that guy is just in the prime. I think he's 26, 27 years old. He's in the prime of his career. He was playing with one hand, essentially, and he was still getting sacks. His numbers have just gone up and up and up and up ever since his injury. So I love Nick Perry, and I love the fact that we locked him down for 5 years. He's gonna be a great Packer, and I think $60 million, while expensive, he was gonna get that price, if not more, at another team. But Martellus Bennett. Now, here's the thing. I thought we would sign Jared Cook again. It seemed like they had that chemistry. He had the amazing, amazing catch in Dallas. And as far as I've heard, they haven't even given him an offer, but they signed Martellus Bennett for 3 years, $20.25 million, which honestly is really not bad for that quality of a player. And think about Martellus Bennett right now. He's just like, oh man, just won a Super Bowl, had Tom Brady throwing me the ball. Now I'm going to get Aaron Rodgers throwing me the ball. I mean, that's a great weapon for the offense, and I'm thoroughly pleased with that. Lance Kendricks as well is also getting signed. And so we have a couple of tight end weapons now, which is great because Richard Rodgers, I love you. You catch Hail Marys. You're in the intro. You'll always be in my heart. But damn, you don't catch enough balls. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm really, really okay with that. In other news, we still don't have a defense. Nick Perry was a big one, but talking about our defensive ends, we don't have really too many of them. We apparently are going to get Dayton Jones back, which is okay, I guess. He's another one who's really never lived up to his first round hype. And also, we don't have a secondary still. So I'm going out on a limb here. I'm thinking we're gonna draft some defensive backs in the draft. So I'm seeing that happening. And apparently we're gonna be drafting running backs as well. Ty Montgomery making the move over to running back, but he's keeping 88, which is important. But I don't see him doing it all himself. I mean, I don't see, Michael being the answer either. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're drafting running backs and a whole bunch of defensive guys in the draft, which is April 27th, which I feel like it is so far away. Like that is a really, we're still like a month and a half away from this draft. And I feel like this offseason is going to be a long one. In other news, you have tackle Guyan, who's suspended for 4 days for PEDs. That's never a good thing. This is not his first time that he's been in trouble, but that's going to not make things any easier at the start of the season. We also have to take our hat off for there's been another fantastic player that has left. One of the Packers' greats. I would argue one of the greatest Packers quarterbacks of all time. And that's Jay Cutler. Jay, the way you just threw the ball to Packers players was just honestly uplifting, extraordinary, and something I will never, ever forget. And I'm so thankful for your service for this team and allowing us to go to the playoffs all these years. So thank you, Jay Cutler. And you'll be going to the Jets most likely, in which, that's where dreams go to die. So good luck, my friend. Good luck. And in other news, you also have the Patriots, man. Like, come on. Like, really? Like, come on. Like, why are they so damn good? Listen, they got Gilmore. They got freaking Brandon Cooks, right? They even got Dwayne Allen just to throw it on top of that. Like, how is this team I was looking at it, their cap room is ridiculously good, and they keep on signing high-quality players. Like, their secondary just got a lot better, and Brandon Cooks, holy mackerel, that guy is going to be a stud for fantasy owners next season. Just wait. The speed that guy has is incredible, and, I mean, it's going to be just, like, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, you're going to see the Patriots in the playoffs going deep, if not the Super Bowl, and it's just, damn, they're good. They're sorry. That's the envious and jealousy in me, absolutely. But taking a look at some other things real quick, the free agency right now for running backs, because I see a lot of, talk about Adrian Peterson, talking about Jamal Charles. No, for the Packers, absolutely not. While I would love to see Adrian Peterson on the Packers just to piss off Vikings fans, a lot of Packers players have kids. And so, they're going to have to hide them if Adrian Peterson comes. So I just don't think that risk is worth it. Plus, he's an old guy. I mean, he's going to do well, fine on some other team, but he's a temporary fix. And it seems like this drafting class for running backs is pretty darn good. So I wouldn't be surprised you see picking him up. And Jamal Charles, no, absolutely. My fantasy team implores you, please don't sign him because he gets hurt every 5 seconds. Great player, was a great player. He needs to go somewhere else now, though. Danny Woodhead, I even saw being rolled out. I like Danny Woodhead again, but I don't see him being signed as well. It could be a shocker, but I'm thinking there's not going to be too many big moves left for the Packers to make. They'll re-sign some of their guys again, but I think that the draft is where they have been and always will be. Kind of that's where they go, and that's where they go to get their players. That's where they cultivate their players and have a nice day. I wouldn't also be surprised if you're seeing some linebackers get re-signed as well, because there's that pattern that when you sign like a Jordy Nelson, right? Then you're drafting a bunch of wide receivers to eventually replace him. And you see the same thing with Nick Perry. I wouldn't be surprised if you get some outside linebackers drafted as well in this draft. But I mean, I'm okay right now. I'm okay with the free agency. Hyde, I understand leaving. Lang might hurt a little bit, Treader, but I think our line is still pretty solid. Spriggs, I don't know how I feel about Spriggs, but for the most part, listen, the fact that we signed Martellus Bennett, I mean, that's something I can hang my hat on for like the next 6 years. And I'm like, okay, even if the guy doesn't even play that well, the fact that we did something in free agency is enough to kind of calm me down for the meantime. But again, it has to be defense. And it's so interesting too, because, last year during the draft, we were like offense. And our running defense was so good at the very beginning of this season, and because we were playing a bunch of scrubs, then Ezekiel Elliott ran all over them, and then our defense just decided to implode with injuries. And, it's something that we really just need depth, and we need some damn raw talent in that secondary, because, listen, if you're the Falcons, you could just put up as many points as you want on us. We're not going to be winning any Super Bowls with that defense. So I'm hoping for some big moves in the draft, and we'll see. But let me know what you think so far, Packer fans. What do you like about free agency? Why is there no God because Eddie Lacy went to the Seahawks? God, that's bad. That's really, really bad. And the Seahawks are coming to Green Bay as well. That'll be an interesting game for the most part. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com, TomGrossi Comedy, or Tom Grossi Comedy on Twitter. Check out Packcast, Packast, which is this podcast. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, and our once a week, which is now kind of just been like I'm just doing once a week now until the draft. On YouTube, check us out. Google Music, we're there too. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. I'll be back. I'll be in and around. I'll poke my head out every time the Packers decide to do something, so I probably won't see you till the draft. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.